a witness to the stand. This guy was one of the heads of security, so he was like second in command in security at the Intercontinental Hotel back in March of 2016.
So there was only two witnesses yesterday. The one you talked about earlier, which was the male escort, is the second. Okay.
Yeah, so actually the LAPD officer, security guard, was actually the first witness, but we talked about him out of order. But yes, only two. So this guy was working at the Intercontinental Hotel. He's a security guy who actually responded when Cassie got on the phone in the lobby outside of the elevators and called for help.
The hallway, yep.
Chaos erupted in the Manhattan Federal Courthouse when former Intercontinental Hotel security guard Israel Flores took the stand and revealed the existence of damning surveillance footage that captured Sean Diddy Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura in March 2016. As soon as Flores mentioned this hidden camera footage, Diddy's demeanor changed drastically. According to courtroom observers, he appeared visibly agitated, pale, and shaky, repeatedly asking to be excused to the bathroom. A move
walks him to the room, and when he gets to the room, he's able to see inside, and there's a man in dark clothing sitting on the bed, which is important, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because Cassie is alleging that the video that we saw was her trying to get away from one of those freak-off situations that she did not want to be a part of. And because she didn't want to be a part of, everything we saw in that video was what
then he saw as an attempt to flee the courtroom as the footage began to play. This wasn't the confident, flashy Diddy the public was used to seeing. He looked like a man watching his entire legacy unravel in real time. Flores, now an LAPD officer, gave detailed testimony about responding to a distress call from the 6th floor of the hotel that night. He described finding Cassie in clear emotional distress, repeatedly saying, "I want to leave. I want to leave." Diddy, on the other hand, insisted, "No, she's not going anywhere." Flores testified that he had to step in and inform Diddy that Cassie had every right to leave. When he escorted her back to the room to gather her belongings, he noticed a man in dark clothing sitting on the bed.
Diddy's team is saying,
so that's why the video matters to the court.
Diddy's team is saying, no, because freak-offs weren't a thing. You guys were consensually engaging in sexual acts, but that's not even what happened here.
A detail that later proved crucial, aligning with Cassie's claim that she was trying to escape one of the so-called freak-off situations when the assault occurred. This directly contradicted Diddy's narrative that it had merely been a jealous argument over something on his phone. The hotel surveillance footage
mentioned something about Cassie having a purple eye when you got off of the elevator. Why wasn't that in your incident report? The man said, well, I didn't think that was significant to put in. Brian still said, so he thought it was significant today, but it wasn't significant 9 years ago. So then he says, you said that you saw a man inside of their hotel room. Why wasn't that in your incident report? Did you ask the man his name? Did you talk to him? And he was like, no, because the man didn't really say anything.
Disclosed for years and reportedly unknown even to Diddy, was later obtained and released by CNN in May 2024. It showed Diddy grabbing, shoving, and kicking Cassie as she attempted to flee down the hallway. According to Flores, after the incident, Diddy allegedly offered him money to stay quiet about what he had witnessed.
Excited, telling everybody about it, telling everybody what happened. But now, today, you only are saying that you remember certain things that go against Puff while you're on the stand, but you didn't say those things back then.
Because he was covering up for Puff back then, but maybe he got a conscience now, though.
A claim that strongly suggests Diddy knew he had crossed the line and wanted to cover it up. Flores also said Diddy had a devilish stare when he emerged from the elevator that night, adding a disturbing element to an already dark story. During cross-examination, Diddy's defense attorney Brian Steele attempted to discredit Flores by pointing out discrepancies between his current testimony and his original 2016 incident report, such as failing to mention Cassie's bruised eye or the third man in the room. The defense also brought up videos Flores recorded on his personal phone that night, joking about his shiny shoes, implying he may have been more starstruck than concerned for Cassie's well-being. Steele suggested Flores may have changed his story over time and questioned his credibility. Despite these efforts, the prosecution emphasized that no matter what Flores did or didn't say in 2016, the footage speaks for itself. The video clearly shows Diddy physically assaulting Cassie, grabbing her, throwing her to the ground, and kicking her while she was down. The footage was so damning that Diddy issued a public apology in May 2024, taking full responsibility. But that apology came only after the footage became public, following years of denial, leading many to view it as strategic damage control rather than genuine remorse. The surveillance footage from the hotel is just one piece of a larger web of evidence. Prosecutors suggested that even more hidden camera footage could exist, potentially collected during raids on Diddy's properties in March 2024. Reports indicate surveillance systems and digital storage devices were seized from his homes, and this looming possibility of more footage emerging has reportedly left Diddy in a constant state of anxiety during the trial. When the footage was played in court, the room reportedly fell silent. Jurors were visibly disturbed, and Diddy kept his head down, seemingly unable to watch. What was once hidden and buried is now center stage, potentially spelling the end for Diddy's career and reputation. Cassie Ventura's testimony only deepened the damage. Visibly pregnant but remarkably composed, she told the court about additional hidden camera footage, this time recorded by Diddy himself. She testified that Diddy had built elaborate recording systems in specially designed rooms where the infamous freak-offs would take place. According to her, these weren't spontaneous acts but carefully staged, filmed, and archived events. Cassie described them as structured productions, complete with lighting, props, and strict direction. She claimed Diddy recorded these sessions not only for personal gratification, but also as leverage to maintain control over those involved. Her testimony aligned with what investigators allegedly found during the March 2024 raids. Extensive surveillance equipment and digital archives filled.
They would oil up so much. That was like a big thing for Puff, allegedly. Like, you had to be oiled, that every 5 minutes they were like just re-oiling because
He wants you to look like a shiny suit.
Yeah, because it glistens, and I guess it's the sexiness of baby oil.
With compromising footage. Cassie outlined a 4-step process that these freak-offs followed. Step 1 involved narrated descriptions of what was happening, almost like a script. Step 2 featured the now infamous baby oil, applied in large quantities to enhance how the footage looked on camera. Investigators found over 1,000 bottles of it during the raids, now believed to be part of this bizarre production effort. Steps 3 and 4 involved increasingly intimate acts, with Diddy allegedly always ensuring they were filmed, whether he was participating or merely watching.
They would finish, the escorts would have a happy ending, and Puff would make her take that happy ending and rub it on his nipples, and then they would engage in whatever they were going to do, just Cassie and Puff allegedly.
So his man milk on Puff's nipples?
That's what Cassie's alleging, that that Puff liked her to rub it on his chest and on.
Perhaps the most disturbing part of her testimony came when she described what happened after the recordings. She claimed Diddy would sometimes make her apply male escorts' bodily fluids to his chest and nipples, acts she said were also recorded. In the courtroom, these fluids were even referred to as man milk, a moment so jarring it reportedly shocked Diddy's family members who were present. As the trial progresses, the mountain of hidden footage and disturbing testimony continues to grow. What was once concealed in private hotel rooms and behind the closed doors of luxurious estates is now being revealed in court, piece by piece. And
vulnerable because he had shared this secret of these voyeurisms and freak-offs that he liked to do. She didn't want another woman coming in and swooping up in her place. And a lot of times she alleges, and we saw actual text messages they brought up where she tried to tell him she didn't want to do it.
Evidence in the case against Sean Diddy Combs includes a hotel bill showing he allegedly paid over $46,000 to cover damages to a penthouse suite following a Freako event in 2012. The sheer amount, $46,000, suggests this wasn't just an ordinary party. According to prosecutors, the real concern is not the parties themselves, but the methods allegedly used to coerce participation. In a letter regarding bail, Prosecutors...
When they would get to a point where it was too much for her, sometimes he would tell the escorts, Puff would tell the escorts allegedly, like, yo, all right, let's stop, let's chill. So they asked her, like, why wouldn't you just tell them to stop yourself? And she said, I mean, I'm laying on the floor, and allegedly intoxicated by all these things, and it's two men standing over.
Claimed that even after Combs became aware of the federal investigation in early 2024, he continued hosting these events. It's the equivalent of getting pulled over for speeding and then hitting the gas again right in front of the officer. Despite lawsuits, media scrutiny, and a plummeting reputation, he allegedly carried on as if nothing had changed. Some might argue that everything was consensual. Diddy's defense appears to be leaning heavily on that argument. His attorney, Tenny Gouros, told the court during opening statements that the case was focused on Combs's private, intimate life, unrelated to any business misconduct. They argue the government is trying to mischaracterize consensual sexual relationships as human trafficking. In January 2025, Diddy's legal team demanded that prosecutors turn over 9 videos referenced in the indictment. According to...
Get hard anymore because he went to Cassie's house. They got comfortable with him. He came to Cassie's house. When he was there, Cassie and Diddy was in the room. He was outside in the living room. Diddy comes out and goes off on Cassie, like allegedly beats her up bad because she took a long time to come back in the room to him. And he said after he saw that was his first time seeing her get physical.
To the defense, these videos show nothing more than adults engaging in consensual activities. No signs of coercion, threats, or violence. But prosecutors maintain that the problem lies in the alleged use of force and threats to make people take part in these events. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams emphasized that it's not about the intimate acts themselves, but the abuse and coercion allegedly involved. He stated that Diddy physically assaulted victims, hitting, kicking, throwing objects at them, and even dragging them by the hair during these Frico events. In one incident from March 2016, some of this behavior was reportedly caught on camera. A video that later surfaced in the media showing Diddy attacking his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway. Cassie is expected to be a key witness in the trial, and her testimony could be pivotal. She is currently pregnant, which could make it harder for Diddy's legal team to paint her in a negative light. The scale of the allegations is staggering, not just in terms of what allegedly happened, but how many people were reportedly involved in facilitating these events. Prosecutors allege that members of the Combs enterprise, including top executives, security personnel, assistants, and other staff, helped coordinate these gatherings. They allegedly booked hotel rooms, arranged travel, handled cleanup, and even delivered cash payments. This pattern of behavior across many years, involving dozens of people, is what led to the racketeering charges typically reserved for organized crime. If even a portion of these claims are proven true, Diddy could be in serious legal jeopardy. The defense appears shaken, and the mountain of evidence continues to grow. As for Oprah Winfrey, some have tried to link her to Diddy's legal troubles. She and Diddy were occasionally seen at high-profile events like the 2007 CFDA Fashion Awards and the concert for Diana. But there's no evidence of a close personal relationship between them. They weren't hanging out on weekends or calling each other regularly. It was more a matter of them moving in the same elite entertainment circles. Back in 2006, Oprah interviewed Diddy for her magazine, during which he spoke about his 1999 weapons possession trial. But when she asked him about the origin of the nickname Puff Daddy, he dodged the question, saying he couldn't even explain it to her. At the time, it seemed like a funny moment. Now, with everything coming out, it feels a little more suspicious. In recent months, wild conspiracy theories have tried to implicate Oprah in Diddy's alleged crimes. One viral rumor from August 2024 claimed that Gayle King sued Oprah over Diddy-related allegations. Snopes quickly debunked the claim, tracing it back to a Facebook page in Indonesia using AI-generated narration. Another video from November 2024 falsely claimed the FBI said Oprah had fled the country to avoid arrest. Again, Snopes confirmed this was pure fiction. Oprah was still posting from her home in the U.S., showing she clearly hadn't gone anywhere. Social media also erupted with false posts in October and December 2024, attempting to link her to leaked footage and federal investigations. But there has been zero credible reporting to support these claims. In reality, the connection between Oprah and Diddy is minimal, limited to public appearances and professional interviews. The conspiracy. Theories are just that, fiction fueled by misinformation and sensationalism. Diddy reportedly told the FBI that Oprah Winfrey purchased a $75 million sex tape involving underage Justin Bieber and Aaron Carter. This claim, which has made the rounds on social media, has no basis in fact and has not been corroborated by any credible sources. It originated from an anonymous user and quickly went viral, illustrating just how fast misinformation can spread when people don't check their sources. Just because something appears in a viral post or your cousin's best friend's hairdresser said it doesn't make it true. In May 2025, another claim emerged saying Oprah had been exposed in court during Diddy's trial. Again, no reputable news outlet reported anything of the sort. This appears to be yet another fabrication circulating through unverified social media accounts. It's important to be crystal clear. Neither Oprah Winfrey nor Gayle King has any connection to the criminal allegations against Diddy. Some people may wonder about Oprah's past associations with controversial figures like Harvey Weinstein, but Oprah has interviewed thousands of people over the course of her career. That's her job. Holding her accountable for the behavior of everyone she's ever spoken to would be unreasonable. That said, accusations have been made. Ally Carter, one of Diddy's accusers, has mentioned several public figures, including Oprah, though her claims have been met with widespread skepticism and remain unverified. The white parties Diddy hosted, glamorous. Events held in the Hamptons, Los Angeles, and Saint-Tropez are now under renewed scrutiny. These events, where guests were required to wear all white, attracted celebrities, influencers, and industry elites. There is no hard evidence that Oprah attended the 2007 White Party, despite speculation. Diddy once said in a 2006 interview with Oprah that the purpose of the white parties was to strip away image and put everyone on the same level. In hindsight, that statement has taken on a different tone. It raises questions about whether this visual uniformity made it harder to track who was doing what. Still, it's crucial to differentiate between the public white parties and the private gatherings, what lawsuits have called freak-offs. While celebrities may have attended the white parties, the private events were allegedly controlled, intimate settings involving a much smaller group. There's no evidence that celebrities like Oprah were present at or aware of any misconduct occurring at these private events. The reality is that Oprah and Diddy had a professional relationship. They weren't close friends or confidants. They were two influential figures in media and entertainment who occasionally appeared at the same events. Nothing more. However, there are people who have been officially named in connection with the allegations against Diddy, and the details are disturbing. During her testimony on May 14 and 15, 2025, Cassie named several individuals who allegedly witnessed Diddy's abusive behavior but chose not to intervene. These included security personnel, assistants, Diddy's personal driver, and specifically her then music manager, James Cruz. She described horrifying scenes, one in particular at a Las Vegas hotel in 2015, where she claimed Diddy punched and kicked her. A security guard reportedly saw her with two black eyes, a swollen lip, and a large welt on her forehead. The guard cried upon seeing her injuries but did nothing further. That kind of inaction, when someone is visibly injured, is more than silence. It's complicity. Cassie also testified that Diddy's driver helped prevent her from leaving during these violent episodes. These weren't passive bystanders. These were people who allegedly helped keep her confined and silenced. According to her, Diddy even instructed her to cover up her injuries with makeup when his son was present, following a beating at his home in 2015. The cruelty in that, beating someone and then making them responsible for hiding the evidence cannot be overstated. Former bodyguard Gene Deal has also spoken publicly about the culture of protecting celebrities like Diddy. He claimed Diddy was strategic about who witnessed his most abusive behavior. This implies a deliberate effort to maintain control over his image by limiting access to his darker side. Dithon Richard, a former member of Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, testified during the trial and offered more troubling insight. She described witnessing Diddy assault Cassie in 2009, saying she saw Cassie curled up in a fetal position. Richard claimed Diddy brushed off the violence as passion and warned that people go missing if they speak out. That wasn't just a casual remark, it was a direct threat. She recounted a specific incident at Diddy's Los Angeles home involving herself and another witness, Keena Harper. Diddy allegedly attacked Cassie over a delay in preparing eggs. He hit her in the head, kicked her while she was on the ground, and dragged her by the hair up the stairs. Afterward, he warned them that speaking up could make them disappear. That kind of intimidation mirrors tactics used by organized crime, not celebrity disputes. This is the kind of behavior being described under oath, supported by witness accounts and consistent patterns. And it's not just about Diddy's actions. It's about the culture of silence and fear that allowed them to continue. The question isn't just what Diddy did, but how many people watched and said nothing, or worse, helped cover it up. Being named in Cassie's testimony doesn't necessarily mean a person did anything wrong. In most cases, these mentions provide context for her allegations of abuse, control, and coercion by Diddy. Cassie testified about a brief romantic relationship with Kid Cudi in 2011, during a time when she was trying to distance herself from Diddy. She alleged that Diddy reacted with extreme jealousy after discovering the relationship, reportedly lunging at her with a wine bottle opener and accessing her emails to confirm the connection. She further claimed that Diddy threatened to harm Cudi, saying he would blow up his car. Strangely enough, in January 2012, Cudi's Porsche was set on fire by an incendiary device at a Los Angeles address linked to him. According to Rolling Stone, police and fire department records confirmed the incident. No charges were filed against Diddy, and he has denied any involvement through his legal team, but the timing is difficult to ignore. Cassie also mentioned Drake, referencing a 2013 incident that took place the night before his OVO festival in Toronto. She alleged that Diddy forcibly entered her apartment while she was asleep and threw her into a bed frame, causing visible injury. Despite the alleged assault, Cassie attended the festival and was seen with French Montana, explaining that she styled her hair to hide the marks from Diddy's attack. Britney Spears came up in her testimony regarding the early days of her relationship with Diddy. Cassie said their romance began around her 21st birthday in September 2007, during a celebration at Jet nightclub in Las Vegas. Diddy brought Spears and Dallas Austin to the event. Spears, wearing sunglasses and a fedora, sat near Cassie and Diddy while chatting with Austin. Cassie also recalled attending a private concert at Prince's home in Los Angeles, a once-in-a-lifetime event held in his basement. She didn't tell Diddy about it, implying this was an act of defiance or independence, as he allegedly sought to control every aspect of her life. Rumors have swirled online about other celebrities who may have known what was going on. Viral Diddy lists circulating on social media have included names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Russell Brand, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Russell Simmons, Usher, and Megan Fox. One particularly serious allegation appeared in a December 2024 amended lawsuit by an unnamed plaintiff who claimed she was assaulted by both Diddy and Jay-Z at a 2000 MTV Video Music Awards after-party when she was 13. The lawsuit claims Diddy lured her to the event, but this incident predates Cassie's involvement with Diddy. Jay-Z has not been criminally charged, and the allegations remain unproven. Public attention intensified when celebrities like Usher, Pink, and Megan Fox deleted social media posts. Around the time Diddy's legal troubles escalated, Usher said his account was hacked. While these deletions raised eyebrows, no evidence has tied these actions to any attempt at hiding involvement. Usher's history with Diddy has drawn attention, given that he lived with Diddy as a teenager in the 1990s. In a resurfaced interview, Usher described witnessing behavior he found shocking, but never specified witnessing abuse involving Cassie. There's also the open secret narrative floating around, suggesting that Diddy's abusive behavior was known in entertainment circles but ignored. Women like Kimora Lee Simmons and Aubrey O'Day faced backlash for speaking out, which points to a culture of silence designed to protect powerful figures. The absence of public condemnation from celebrities who collaborated with or attended Diddy's events has fueled speculation. Still, silence alone isn't evidence of complicity. So far, Cassie's testimony and supporting legal documents primarily implicate Diddy and members of his inner circle, such as his security, assistants, and employees, not A-list celebrities. There's also confusion between Diddy's public, white parties, and the private freak-offs described in the lawsuits. The white parties were glamorous, public, and celebrity-filled. The freak-offs, however, were private events allegedly controlled and orchestrated by Diddy. Cassie's claims are centered on these private gatherings, not the public celebrations. This distinction undermines speculation that celebrities who attended the white parties were involved in or aware of the abuse. While the rumors and speculation continue, the concrete legal focus remains on Diddy's immediate circle. Cassie's testimony, along with corroboration from Don Richard and others, reveals an environment where Diddy's power and intimidation silence those who witnessed abuse. That silence, born of fear or control, allowed the abuse to continue unchecked. Cassie's testimony began on May 13, 2025. She and Diddy were in an on-and-off relationship from 2007 to 2018, starting when she was 19 and he was 37. She signed with Bad Boy Records and claimed in her 2023 lawsuit that Diddy exerted enormous control over her life and career, subjecting her to physical violence, sexual assault, and coercion. One of the most disturbing aspects of her account involves the so-called freak-offs. These were allegedly orchestrated, drug-fueled gatherings where Cassie was forced to engage in sexual acts with male companions, while Diddy watched, directed, recorded, and often pleasured himself. She testified that these events could last from 36 to 48 hours, with the longest going for 4 days. The prolonged sessions, drug use, and lack of rest left her physically and mentally exhausted. Cassie said she needed significant recovery time after each one, sometimes just to feel like a person again. According to her testimony, Diddy's staff helped facilitate these encounters by booking hotel rooms, handling travel, providing substances, and preparing baby oil, linens, and specialized lighting. Participants were allegedly recruited through platforms like Craigslist and paid between $1,500 and $6,000 per session. Diddy reportedly gave detailed directions, controlling everything from Cassie's appearance to what activities were performed. She claimed he kept the footage, possibly as blackmail material. Cassie painted a chilling picture of control, saying the freak-offs became so regular, sometimes weekly, that they consumed her life. She recorded hundreds of songs, but only one album and one mixtape were released. Her creativity was stifled because the focus wasn't on her career, but on fulfilling Diddy's demands. The events, according to her, took priority, leaving no room for her music or her voice. Despite everything, Cassie has shown immense strength by coming forward. Testifying against someone as powerful as Diddy isn't just brave, it's extraordinary. Her words and experiences are central to this case and are helping to shine a light on a pattern of abuse that many say was hidden in plain sight for far too long. Cassie's drive to create hundreds of songs was met with the harsh reality that only one album was ever released, as her abuser prioritized using her for his own gratification over her career. It's like signing LeBron James, but only letting him play 1/4 of one game per season. The wasted potential and stolen dreams are truly heartbreaking. Cassie explained that she initially participated in these abusive encounters to please Diddy, whom she loved, but felt unable to refuse due to fear of violence and blackmail. Diddy allegedly threatened to release explicit videos from the freak-offs, which Cassie feared would ruin her career and reputation. She described these threats as a constant source of control, saying, "It turned into the fact that there were actually blackmail materials to make me feel like if I didn't do it, it would be hung over my head. The physical and emotional toll was devastating." Cassie often felt humiliated, worthless, and disgusting. She developed sores on her tongue and sometimes required IV fluids to recover. She also testified that she developed an addiction to cope with the trauma, using substances to dissociate during these encounters. She recalled a 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, where she fled and Diddy became violent, resulting in a black eye and an infamous hallway assault caught on security footage. The video, released in May 2024,